The story begins, and we see Crane's sect. And two people have come to this place, and when they look ahead, they are surprised to see the sight in front. Because their farming has been completely stolen. And one of the men says, "Who has stolen my fairy grass?" And we see a board. It is written on that board, "I'll lend you the fairy grass and give it back to you in time, when you use it." After this, the man comes to his master, and says to him, "Master, that kid Wu Bailiang stole your 100-year-old elixir." And hearing this, his master gets very angry and says, "Bailiang, you bastard! I will not leave you alive." And that master gets so angry that he breaks through, and goes to the upper realm. After this, the scene shifts and we see Ping Duong village. And at this place a man is being brought sitting on a donkey, and all the villagers have come to welcome that man. And all the villagers are saying, "Congratulations to Bailiang for being selected as a disciple of the Immortal sect by the Lingtian sect." Then we look at the man character of this story. And his name is Wu Bailiang, and he is saying, "I am Wu Bailiang, an ambitious young man who is loved by everyone." But then someone from behind says, "What a sensitive child! What a pity he is alive!" And Bailiang is thinking while looking back, "Because I often get into trouble, I am the net crite memaker, so the villagers." And then the village elders come to Bailiang, and he says to Bailiang, "Promise least not to return to the village until we become immortals." And Bailiang says to that elder, "I don't expect Master Zhang to have such high expectations for me. Don't worry. If you don't become an immortal, I swear I won't pay it back." Then the elder says, "A man of his words." Then the elder turns back, and calls out to the second brother. And the second brother comes to that place, and tells Bailiang to sit tight. And Bailiang says to the second brother, "Mr. Wang, what are you doing?" And the second brother now starts taking away Bailiang from that place. And Bailiang while leaving says, "I haven't had time to say goodbye to everyone yet. Don't be so anxious." And also Bailiang's dog was caught by Bailiang. And his dog says, "I haven't gone down yet. I'm just passing by." And when Bailiang leaves from there, the elder starts crying with joy. And all the villagers become very happy. And the elder says, "This little brat is finally gone. The village can finally be quiet." Then the second brother takes Bailiang to a forest. And he says, "You stand here." And Bailiang says to the second brother, "Why did you bring me to this forest?" And Bailiang looking ahead says, "What if I want to go back and see everyone? But how can I go back if I'm such a crazy person?" And at the same time Bailiang is thinking, "Damn it, Mr. Dog is in trouble if he falls into your hands. The leisurely days in the village are gone forever." Then the second brother turns back and says to Bailiang, "Bailiang, what nonsense are you talking about? It's not just talk that you won't return until you become an immortal. I know that you are determined to reach the sky and want to live as long as heaven and the earth. With your peerless talent, you will be able to achieve the great road in the sky and achieve endless immortality. You are the hope of the whole village. Everyone believes you will succeed." And Bailiang becomes emotional after listening to the second brother's words. And the second brother is thinking that this bastard is not taking this thing seriously. Then that second brother is leaving from there, and while leaving he says, "Don't let him go from here," and while leaving he is thinking, "Ancestor, don't come back. I sent you here specially. It goes all the way from east to west, north to south, and your sense of direction will definitely be confused. It will be difficult to reach the sky if you want to go back to the village." And now the second brother leaves from there. And Bailiang is speaking exactly like a mannequin. "Hello, please tell me how to get to Lingtian sect." Then he says to both his pets, "Dahei, those old Inbi don't know how to behave. They know that I have a poor sense of direction and deliberately bypass me. You are the beasts closest to me." And Bailiang is caressing the heads of both the pets, due to which their heads become empty. And that dog is thinking, "Stop touching it. Whenever you have trouble, just touch our heads. Why are we both so bald? Don't you have any points?" Then Bailiang tells about himself and says, "But fortunately, I have a nose that is more sensitive than Dahei. Each treasure has its own unique fragrance. No treasure can escape my nose. The Lingtian sect must have many treasures. Just follow the smell of the treasure and find it. And Baeliang starts inhaling loudly, and we see there is a fragrance in the air, which is going towards Director Baeliang. And when Baeliang smells the scent, he becomes very happy and says, "There are real treasures around here." And hearing this, the dog gets disappointed and says, "Have to, going to Khalees trouble again." And now Baeliang sits on that donkey and starts going, holding the dog in his hand, and quickly goes to find that treasure. And while leaving he says, "This treasure smells so silky. It looks like something incredible." And his donkey is also running very fast. And that donkey seems to be a very long walk. And as they move ahead, they see a girl bathing in a lake. And that girl is very beautiful. And then she feels something, and she looks back. And when Baeliang, the dog and the donkey, when all three of them see that girl, their mouths remain open. And that girl also gets scared seeing them, but Baeliang's donkey starts running very fast. Baeliang asks his donkey to stop, but the donkey goes straight and collides with the girl. And they all go inside the water. And after some time, Baeliang has thrown that girl out of that lake. Then the girl slowly opens her eyes and says, "What was flying just now?" And when the girl opens her eyes and looks in front, Baeliang, the dog and the donkey, all three of them are staring at that girl. And Baeliang asks the girl in a strange look, "Girl, are you okay?" And seeing the three, the girl gets very scared, and she turns her hand into a fist and beats Baeliang. After this the girl wears her dress, and she is saying, "Explain. What have you done to me?" And the girl takes out the sword and moves forward. And also that girl has tied all three of them with a rope. And Baeliang is saying to that girl, "Fairy sister, I'm just here to find water for the dog. I promise I haven't touched a hair on your head." And Baeliang says to that girl in a creepy look, "If you feel it is inappropriate, I can only pledge myself to you. Don't worry, I will be responsible for you." And hearing this the girl gets very angry, and says to Baeliang, "I think it would be safer to kill you." And she comes in front of Baeliang with the sword, seeing which Baeliang gets scared, but then Baeliang takes the sword from the girl's hand. And the girl wonders, when did Baeliang untie the rope, and when does Baeliang come so close to her? And Baeliang is looking at that sword and telling that girl, "This sword is made of good materials, but the forging process is a bit poor, otherwise it would definitely be a top-notch treasure." And seeing Baeliang so close to her, the girl moves away from Baeliang. And she says, "When did you finally come to me?" And Baeliang laughingly says to that girl, "Feel sorry. When I see the treasure, I can't help but want to pick it up and take a look." Then the girl takes her sword back. And she says to Baeliang, "You guys. How plied, how dare you humiliate Lingtian sect disciples?" And Baeliang says to that girl, "No. I really didn't do anything." And Baeliang's two pets are watching all this. And the donkey is saying, "It's over. I'm afraid it's doomed this time." And the dog says, "How do I say this?" And the donkey says, as the saying goes, "Don't offend women with anything." Then Baeliang happily says to the girl, "Is Sister Xianzi from the Lingtian sect? I was selected as an intern disciple by the Lingtian sect and I was about to report." But hearing this the girl gets angry and says to Baeliang, "Report? A shameless mediocrity like you will probably ruin the reputation of the Lingtian sect. As a disciple of the Lingtian sect, I have the right to eliminate stubborn people like you. You are out." And hearing this, Baeliang turns into a stone Tao. Eliminated. This is too casual. I haven't even seen the gate of the Lingtian sect yet. This makes the villagers know not to laugh out loud. Speaking of which, I am indeed not a cultivator. The average person can reach the first level of chi refining in 1 month, the second level in 3 months, the third level in half a year, and the fourth level in 1 year. And I haven't even reached the first level in half a year. Even if I secretly take more jelly grass and elixir, it will not help. All the great immortal sects turned me away. So in everyone's eyes I became a loser who only gets into trouble." And Baeliang is thinking about all those things which those people used to say, useless things. Rubbish. Waste. And they all used to laugh a lot at Baeliang. But Baeliang had a lot of confidence in himself and he says, "But what do you know? Want to defeat me in just a few words? You are so navy. After so many years, I finally found the path that suits me. Let's wait and see. Now that I have been selected by the Lingtian sect for the first time, my opportunity has come. Kai Ning was easily eliminated. And Bailiang stops the girl and says, wait a moment. Who said my qualifications are mediocre? You don't understand my true strength at all. And the girl turns back and says to Bailiang, strength? Most practitioners at your age have reached at least the 4th level of chi refining. But I can't feel the slightest bit of cultivation in you. What is this if not mediocrity? Even if I don't eliminate you, the next test will be very dangerous for you. Since you don't have this talent, why take the risk? And after listening to that girl, Bailiang smilingly tells her, speaking of talents, my talents are unique. That is the perception of treasure, and the girl listens carefully to Bailiang, and Bailiang says, in addition to the sword, you have at least one other treasure. It should be that your underwear is woven with rare velvet. It has the effect of keeping warm in winter and cool in summer, and also has a certain degree of defense. This can be sold for a lot of money in the market. And Bailiang moves his hand forward and says to that girl, and I will get the treasure that I like without anyone noticing. Am I right? And the girl starts feeling shy after listening to Bailiang. And then, the dog becomes very angry at Bailiang, and attacks him with his kicks. And shouts at him saying, say no more. We are serious comics. Then the donkey calmly says the situation has developed towards an irreversible point. But after listening to Bailiang, the girl gets very angry and says, then I will eliminate harm for the people now. And seeing that girl, Bailiang gets very scared and says to her, isn't that what you wanted me to show you? But then someone in that girl's mind says, moon, autumn, snow. Is this Sun Wu Bailiang? Bring him to me. And after listening to that man, the girl becomes calm and says, sound transmission thousands of miles away. It turned out to be the voice of the elder Chingsong. Wu Bailiang? Is he the one recommended by the whole village? And that girl goes in front and asks, are you Wu Bailiang? And Bailiang gets surprised after listening to that girl and tells her it's me. Do you know about me, Sister Fairy? Then the girl tells Bailiang, climbing over the mountain in front is Lingtian sect. Just take care of yourself. After this, the girl drops Bailiang at his destination. And she quickly leaves that place, and seeing him leaving, Bailiang says this attitude change is a bit too fast. A woman's face really changes at a moment's notice, and the name of this place is Ling Tianzong, and Bailiang is saying to his pets, hello. What's the matter with you? All the elixirs and herbs I fed you before were in vain. But that donkey is thinking, what did I do wrong? Want to be punished like this, and at the same time his dog is also thinking. Let me go back to the village and be a free wild dog. And Bailiang has now reached the entrance. And there are a lot of people at that place. And seeing this, Bailiang is saying, why are there so many metas over there, especially reports? Multiple people. Look, the place is up. Then Bailiang sees a man and says to him, big brother. Is it reporting from the front? And the man says, what coverage? I was eliminated. Bailiang is surprised to hear his words and asks him disuse. What's going on? Then the man there starts telling Bailiang, see the big stone gate ahead? Anyone with qualifications will be eliminated. Gaotian's brothers are all shopping. Then we see that big door at that place, and there are many people at that place, who are not able to move that door. And those people are saying, well, I'm not willing to give in. And Bailiang listens to his words and says, I finally understand. Ling Tianzong is casting a wide net to catch many fish. Isn't this the behavior of a scumbag? And Bailiang rubs his teeth and says, I don't believe that a living person with a big ego can live in a broken state. The door is blocked, and we see a man at that place, who is an instructor, and he says next. And that man says to all those people, don't waste your time here. The trash should stay where the trash belongs. Our Lingtian sect is not a waste recycling station. Get out of here. And then Bailiang comes to that place and says to that man, did you eat shit today? You talk so bad. We didn't come all the way here just to hear you curse. And after listening to Bailiang, the man says to him, who is talking nonsense here? And Bailiang tells him with confidence, I don't want to change my name, but I don't want to change my surname. Wu Bailiang. What's the rule? just open the door. And the man looks at Bailiang and says, you are so arrogant, I dare to ask what level of chi refining you are at. And Bailiang tells the man it's almost the first level of chi refining. And when everyone comes to know that Bailiang is just on chi refining, then everyone gets very surprised and says, what is almost the first level of chi refining? This kid can't be a fool. And when the man hears that Bailiang is just on chi refining, he starts laughing very hard and says, I was laughing so hard how powerful I thought it was. He dares to speak arrogant words even though he is only at the first level of chi refining. And the man says to Bailiang in a serious look, this is not an ordinary Sherman. It is more difficult for mortals to move it than to reach the sky. Even in my foundation building stage, I can only open the stone door half a meter high. I think you are a newborn and are not afraid of tigers. And the man points his finger at Bailiang and says, no matter what method you use, you must be able to move the door down once you pass. And Bailiang, while crossing in front of that man, says, then don't regret it. And the master is watching all this from a distance, and he is saying, want to open the trial stone after just one level of chi training? Wu Bailiang, I want to see what your kid is capable of. And now Bailiang is looking at that big door and says it looks pretty big like this. And also all the people present at that place are surprised and they are saying that young people really don't know the heights of the world. I don't know where his confidence comes from. And that man is saying to Bailiang, what's the ink? Hurry up and put your hand up. If you can make the stone door move, I will eat the door. And Bailiang says to that man, you added this yourself, so don't deny it when the time comes. Then Bailiang places his hand on that door, so that he starts absorbing all the spiritual energy of that door. And seeing this, everyone gets surprised and says, why is the wind blowing? And Bailiang very quickly starts absorbing the spiritual energy of that door. And seeing this, the door gets surprised and says, what's the situation? My spiritual energy was sucked away by him. What are you doing? And even Bailiang is not able to understand what is happening to him. And he says, I don't know why there seems to be a black hole in my body. All the auras of the treasures I touch will be sucked into it, until it became an ordinary object. This is also the reason why my cultivation has not improved. But Bailiang says smilingly, your aura is enough to produce a treasure of self-awareness. It seems that you have absorbed a lot of the spirit of heaven and earth. But sorry, I took them all away. You will soon become an ordinary stone door. And after listening to Bailiang, that stone door is screaming, and asks to stop. And after listening to that stone door, Bailiang tells him loudly, then you dare to block my way. Get out of my way. And that door accepts Bailiang's words and starts flying away from that place. And everyone is surprised to see what just happened. And the instructor is also surprised, what just happened? And he says this is impossible. There is no way he can surpass me at his age, the cultivation level. And then Bailiang feels something and says this feeling. Could it be that I'm about to break through? And Bailiang starts flying in the air, and a lot of energy is coming out from inside him, seeing which everyone gets surprised. And due to the pressure of Bailiang's energy, they all fall very far. And finally Bailiang makes a breakthrough. And he becomes very happy. And they are surprised to see that Bailiang has made a breakthrough at this very moment. And they ask Bailiang, what state are you in now? Can this stone gate improve cultivation? Why didn't I feel it just now? And Bailiang smilingly tells them, I finally reached the first level of chi refining. What are you excited about at the first level of chi refining? And when those people hear this, they become very angry. And shouting at Bailiang, they say, didn't you just say that you have reached the first level of chi refining? But Bailiang tells them it wasn't quite the first level just now. And that man is thinking, were you not even at the first level of chi refining just now? What is this guy's background? Then Bailiang goes to that man and says to him, how about you? Are you willing to admit defeat? But Sherman has flown away, so you don't have anything to eat. Why don't I treat you to something? How about it? I'm willing to admit defeat. But Sherman flew away and you didn't eat. How about I treat you to something fresh? And Bailiang says to his dog Dahei, give him something fresh. And Bailiang's dog shits right there. And when that man sees that he will have to eat that dog's shit, he becomes very angry. And that man does not have to eat the dog's shit, so that man starts running away from there, and while leaving says, "I remember you, boy." But Baoliang is telling that man, "Don't go. Let's go after eating." And all those people become very happy and say, "So we can stay in the Lingtian sect." Amazing! Boy! But Baoliang tells them that you are overthinking it. In fact, although that guy has a bad mouth, he is right. Since you don't have the talent for cultivation, why bother forcing it? And Baoliang going ahead tells them it's up to you to decide how to choose. Goodbye everyone. And Baoliang reaches a place, and says it seems that this is the official entrance. No way! Climb again? And then someone comes to that place, and takes Baoliang's name. And Baoliang looks at him and asks him, "Who are you?" And we see the master, who is the same master whom we saw keeping an eye on Baoliang. And now he comes wearing a mask. And he is saying to Baoliang, "It doesn't matter who I am, you just need to know that I am the elder of Lingtian sect. I've been waiting for you here for a long time." And Baoliang asks that master, "Wait for me? Do we know each other?" And the master says to Baoliang, "I didn't expect that it would be so big in the blink of an eye." And Baoliang tells him to master, "Why am I not impressed by you?" Baoliang asks that master, "Do you know anything about me?" And he tells about Baoliang and says, "When your father entrusted you to me before he died, I wanted you to stay away from the grudges in this world. So I placed you in Pingyang village and became an ordinary person. Unexpectedly, you still embarked on this path." And that master takes out a jade talisman, and shows it to Baoliang and says, "I'll give you this jade talisman. If you have any problems that can't be solved in the future, you can use it to find me." But then, Baoliang grabs the master by his collar and starts asking him, "Tell me. What do you know? Where are my parents?" But the master tells Baoliang, "It's not time yet. Go for it. No is your residence." 9. And that master makes Baoliang sit on a flying thing, but Baoliang does not leave that master's clothes, but the power of that flying paper bird was very high. So he makes Baoliang fly with him, and takes away, but Baoliang had held the master's clothes very hard, due to which the master starts sweating. And after some time, Baoliang flies away from there. But before leaving Baoliang naked the master, he does it and goes. And the master is standing naked at that place, and is thinking about Baoliang. Baoliang has torn the master's clothes and taken it with him. And the master is saying, "You are the first one who dares to take off my clothes." After this, the scene shifts and we see another place. And Baoliang has come to this place, and from now on this is going to be Baoliang's new home. And Baoliang sees master's clothes. Huh! That guy shouldn't hold a grudge. And seeing this, the dog is saying, "When a little expert in getting into trouble, got into trouble. The key is to offend the elder." And Baoliang keeps the master's cloth with him and says, "The material is good. It should be worth a lot of money." And when the donkey hears this, he says, "You have such a big heart, I hope that old man won't cause trouble for you." And Baoliang has seen that house and says, "This is where I live?" And Baoliang becomes very happy after seeing that house and says, "Nice. Brand new roof that doesn't leak, and a kitchen. Separate practice room. I just said that it would definitely not be a bad idea to follow me." And on a board it is written, "Congratulations to the Lord," and Baoliang stylishly says, "Don't worry, you too, from now on you will follow me to enjoy the hot and spicy food." But that dog is thinking, if you don't get into trouble all the time, everything will be fine. And Baoliang, while going inside the house, says, after climbing the mountain for so long, "Everyone is probably hungry. Think about good food, they must be prepared in abundance to eat on the go." And when Baoliang goes inside the house, something is kept in front of him, seeing which Baoliang becomes very happy, and he is thinking, what about the spicy drink that we promised to drink? But before Baoliang can do anything with that seed, the donkey eats that seed, seeing which Baoliang gets a big shock. And he goes directly and catches that donkey and says to him, "Hello. You ate everything. Do you still have team spirit? You stupid ass." But then someone knocks on Baoliang's door, and Baoliang asks who it is. Then a girl's voice is heard from there, and she says, "Is my little brother here? I am my brother's exclusive supervisor." And as soon as Baoliang hears a girl's voice, his ears perk up. And also his facial reaction also changes, and he says cute girl's voice. Is there a dedicated supervisor? I just said bad things about Ling Tian's sect, but I didn't expect them to be very sensible. And Bailiang stylishly says don't worry. Brother is here. Then Bailiang opens the door and says beauty, please come quickly. But when he looks in front he gets shocked, there is a muscular girl in front of him, seeing whom Bailiang gets scared, and that girl says little brother, and Bailiang fearfully says to that girl beauty, beauty, what do you want from me? This muscle looks fatter than mine and the girl comes in and says of course I am supervising your practice. If I find you are lazy and do not practice well, then the girl shows her biceps and says I will definitely let you know what cruelty is. And Bailiang fearfully tells him, you can't be lazy. I am such a hard-working person. And the girl goes on to say, in addition, the internship office will give 3 seeds to new disciples. In order to officially become a peripheral disciple of the sect, one must plant 3 seeds within 3 months to produce fairy beads that meet the standards. And the girl shows that plate and asks what about seeds? I clearly remembered putting it here. Did you lose the seeds? And Bailiang nervously asks the girl, what if the seed is lost? And the girl says to Bailiang with a dangerous look, immortal seeds are here and people are here. The immortal seeds are lost, limbs and life roots are cut off. And after listening to that girl, all 3 get very nervous and their mouths remain open. Then Bailiang starts taking the donkey to the side, and says to the girl please wait for a moment. And Bailiang goes inside and starts opening the donkey's mouth and tells him to spit out the seeds for me. And that donkey gets so scared that he shits out those 3 seeds. And Bailiang is looking carefully at that donkey's shit and says fortunately, it was not digested, but your poop is getting more and more smelly. Then Bailiang starts bringing those 3 seeds and says to that girl the seeds are here and a bad smell was coming from that seed. And after smelling that bad smell the girl says why does this seed have a strange smell? Then the girl starts telling further, next, do the confession, put the seed in your mouth. Each trainee has only 3 seeds. In order to prevent others from stealing other people's seeds, we can only use this method. And when Bailiang listens to that girl, Bailiang gets the biggest shock of his life. Then he nervously tells the girl, don't worry about recognizing the Lord. Is there anything else? And while leaving the girl says to Bailiang then follow me to the tool room to pick out a few handy tools. And Bailiang says okay. Then the dog shows the thumb to the donkey and says, nice job, donkey. And that donkey says to that dog, stop talking sarcastically. I'm afraid I'll have to deal with it later. Then the girl brings Bailiang to another place, and tells Bailiang there are 8 interns like you in Baichao Garden, and 4 will eventually be left behind. And Bailiang is thinking that's it? It's not as big as Zhang Sen's horse. Therefore, it is very necessary to choose a few handy tools. And that girl staring at Bailiang says don't worry, you can only choose 2 things. You only have time for 1 fragrance. And Bailiang is about to open the door of that house and says can this Lingtian sect work? Why don't you even have a decent treasure house? And when Bailiang opens that door, he is completely surprised to see what he sees in front. Because he has a lot of weapons in front of him. And Bailiang directly reaches a different place. And Bailiang gets surprised after seeing his surroundings and says I didn't expect that. It's so vast in here. Speaking of picking out treasures, that's what I'm best at and Bailiang uses his smelling ability, and smells the treasures around him, and tries to find a good treasure for himself and he is looking around and saying 99% of the tools here are low-grade spiritual weapons refined by TNG Peak. Then it's so fancy. And just then, Bailiang gets the smell of a powerful treasure, and he starts moving very fast towards that treasure, and says there's a baby here. And Bailiang now reaches the place where the treasure is kept. But there is a seal on that place, seeing which Bailiang says Jingran was sealed by the magic circle got it. And Bailiang is smilingly saying, it seems to be an incredible treasure, since we are destined, I won't be polite. If I remember correctly, this should be a soul-stirring psychedelic magic circle, which can be classified as a high-level magic circle. Anyone who intrudes without authorization will fall into an illusion and be unable to extricate themselves. This formation magnifies people's inner desires infinitely. Even if the will is strong, it is useless. until all the energy in his body was consumed by the magic circle. But I have been familiar with various formation books since I was a child, and cracking formations is a piece of cake for me. And Bailiang, while going towards the treasure, says, "Baby, I am coming." And Bailiang starts entering inside that seal and says, "However, I still underestimated the formation this time. Compared with the formations I encountered before, it was not at the same level." After some time, we see Bailiang, who is sitting at a place, and suddenly he wakes up. And he starts looking around him and says, "Well, where am I? What is this place?" And just then, an eye starts glowing behind Bailiang. And when Bailiang notices that thing, he gets scared and comes back. And he asks, "Who is it?" Then when he looks in front, there is a very beautiful girl at that place, and that girl is saying, "Husband, what are you waiting for?" And when Bailiang hears the husband from that girl's mouth, he gets very surprised. Then the girl tells Bailiang a moment of spring night is worth 1,000 pieces of gold. Then the girl catches Bailiang, makes him lie down on the bed and says to him, "Husband, let's go to bed early." Husband? Am I already married? There is also this plump body, smooth long hair, and a gentle and considerate voice. And Bailiang gets very excited after listening to that girl and says, "Isn't this the perfect wife in my mind? I, Wu Bailiang, am so virtuous and capable." And that girl comes close to Bailiang and says to him, "What's wrong with your husband? Are you tired?" Then the girl makes Bailiang lie on the bed and comes over Bailiang, and tells him, "Don't worry, I'll let you relax." And Bailiang is thinking after seeing the girl, "Oh my god! Isn't this really a dream?" Then that girl is about to kiss Bailiang, and she is saying to Bailiang, "Husband, I'm going to start." But then, Bailiang slaps the girl, which spoils the whole fun. What a heartless person this Bailiang is. And because of Bailiang's slap, the eyes of that lovely girl become moist. And that girl says, "Husband, what are you doing?" And Bailiang has raised his hands, and he is thinking, "What's wrong with my hands? Move on your own." Then Bailiang starts slapping himself. And Bailiang is getting slapped again and again with his own hand. And seeing this, the girl becomes very surprised and says, "Husband, what are you doing?" And then Bailiang's subconscious is telling him, "Wake me up, don't forget that our ultimate self is a treasure. How could we let Anren hold us back?" And after listening to the words of subconscious, Bailiang says, "Enough. You want to slap me to death." And now Bailiang remembers everything and says to his subconscious, "Thanks to my subconscious obsession with treasures, otherwise I would be trapped in this dream." But the girl is a little surprised to see Bailiang like this. Then the girl says to Bailiang very lovingly, "Go ahead. That's pretty good." But then Bailiang catches the girl and makes her lie on the bed. And Bailiang says to that girl, "I admit that you are perfect. I guess not many men can withstand such a test. Unfortunately, it's all fake." And Bailiang hits the girl on her stomach. After this, Bailiang comes out of that seal. And he has finally found that treasure. And also Bailiang has broken that seal. But when Bailiang sees that treasure, he gets surprised and says, "What is this? It took me a long time to do this." Then Bailiang takes that treasure out of the treasure room. And whatever treasure he finds, he keeps it on the ground. And seeing that treasure, the girl says to Bailiang, "Is this the tool you chose?" And Bailiang says, "That's right." But the girl gets a little angry and says to Bailiang, "There are so many good tools in there, but you chose this broken shovel and flower pot that are about to rust into slag. What's wrong with you?" And Bailiang says to that girl, "Yes, if I couldn't only take 2 pieces, I would have wanted to take them all." And Bailiang whispers in the girl's ear, "It would be worth a lot of money if they were all sold. How about we get 55 points then?" And the girl gets angry after listening to Bailiang. And that girl picks up Bailiang. Then she says to Bailiang, "What did you say? You dare to have the idea of a warehouse? Believe it or not, I will cut you right now." And Bailiang is saying to that girl's sister, "Tsehua is powerful." And Bailiang is thinking, "Oops, I accidentally said what was on my mind." Then the girl leaves Bailiang, and while leaving that place says, "You go back to the garden first, and I'll go take the sect mission. By the way, give your iron pickaxe a good sharpening." And Bailiang thinks, "What do you know?" And Bailiang looks at that treasure, and says, although it looks like a broken iron pickaxe, there must be something magical about it. I will never make a mistake. After some time, Bailiang is sharpening that treasure, but then, that treasure gets broken, and seeing this, Bailiang goes crazy, and he says sadly, isn't it a treasure? Young master, I have been traveling in Pingyang village for more than 10 years and have seen countless treasures. This time, I actually got an eye-opening, impossible. Then that dog comes near Bailiang and starts barking. Then Bailiang looks at that dog and says, what's wrong? I have nothing to eat. Then the dog comes forward and spits out those 3 seeds, and looking at those seeds it seems as if their very soul has gone out. And when Bailiang sees this, he gets very angry and says, seed, my seed is dead. What happens every day? And now Bailiang is very angry and he says, you too. Do you want me to be kicked out? And seeing Bailiang so angry, the dog gets very nervous. Then Bailiang starts imagining that girl. Which one do you want to chop first? And Bailiang is running behind that dog to kill it, and is telling it to stop right here. I want to eat meat buns tonight. And that dog is saying to Bailiang while running, what do you care about me? And that dog reaches Bailiang's courtyard while running. Then just then, that donkey comes to Bailiang, and Bailiang says to that donkey, what are you doing? And the donkey is holding a board, and on that board it is written, seeds can still be saved. Fairy spring water. And seeing that board, Bailiang calms down a bit and says, can fairy spring water save seeds? And that donkey smiles and says, yes, then I will give you a chance. I believe that such a large fairy gate will not be short of fairy spring water. After this, Bailiang fills water in a tub, and places those 3 seeds inside that tub. And Bailiang, with folded hands, starts praying to those 3 seeds and says, you 3 breeders must hold on. And the next day, that girl is saying to Bailiang, Wu Bailiang, come out quickly and gather. Just waiting for you. And Bailiang is saying to both his pets, you guys take good care of my home. Don't make trouble for me again. And that dog is saying to Bailiang, don't worry, it's time to play. If the master is eliminated, you are the biggest sinner. And that donkey asks that dog, are you hungry? Then now Bailiang comes to another place, and there are other disciples also at this place. And seeing them, Bailiang is saying, oh, there are a lot of people. And that girl looks at Bailiang angrily and says, what are you grinding about? Everyone is waiting for you. Then when Bailiang looks in front, there are 3 beautiful girls in front, who are really looking very beautiful. And seeing them, Bailiang gets surprised and says, oh, so many beautiful girls. And Bailiang, not paying attention to the muscular girl's words, starts going directly towards those 3 beautiful girls. And seeing Bailiang approaching those 3 beautiful girls, the muscular girl gets angry. And said to Bailiang, Wu Bailiang, didn't you hear what I said? But Bailiang, not paying attention to that muscular girl, starts going to those 3 beautiful girls, and says to them, hello everyone, my name is Wu Bailiang. From Pingduong village, a boy rubs his nose looking at Bailiang and says, what the hell? How come this famous Lingtian sect even accepts cats and dogs from Yashanggu? And there are some other people also at this place and they say, at what level do you dare to choose the same sect as us? That is. And Bailiang goes directly to that boy and tells him, yes. The famous Lingtian sect has so many unruly wild dogs, and the boy gets angry after hearing Bailiang's words. And he says angrily, you. Believe it or not, I will kill you. But Bailiang, moving away from the boy, says to him, I'm not talking about you. You admitted that you are a wild dog. And after hearing Bailiang's words, the boy goes crazy. Then a girl says, okay. Stop making noise. Hello, I am Chuihan. And the other beautiful girl says, this is Yunling, hello. Then Bailiang holds Chuihan's hand and says to her, hello, senior sister. I would like to ask if senior sister is allowed to have Taoist companions at Fengling? And after listening to Bailiang, Chuihan starts blushing and says, I have no Taoist companions, but a dangerous thing is staring at Bailiang. And she is none other than the same muscular girl. And she very angrily says to Bailiang, what about Wen Yuqian? Did I ask you to come on a blind date? 5 points of contribution points will be deducted. And Bailiang asks that muscular girl, What is the contribution value? Then the girl starts telling Baeliang, listen to me. The contribution value is used as the standard for your assessment, and is initially 0 points. In the end, whoever has the higher contribution value will be eligible to stay. Baeliang says to that muscular girl, I was just chatting with my classmates. Why is the contribution value negative? Then the guy laughs and says this guy is probably the worst material. But Baeliang says to that boy, what are you laughing at? No matter how funny you are, the Taoist companions you are looking for are all green flowers. Then that girl starts telling everyone, you guys, each has 5 points deducted for your contribution. If you talk more, your punishment will be doubled. And after listening to that girl, all 3 of them get surprised and get scared. Then the girl takes something out of the space bag, which is a map, and the girl tells everyone, this is the map for this sect mission. This sect mission is limited to activities in the yellow zone. Do not trespass into other dangerous areas, especially black areas, and do not step foot even half a step after that. The mountains were full of spiritual energy, and many fairy grasses gave birth to plant elves. He is good at hiding his whereabouts, and has attack methods. Poisonous juice sprays, hallucinogenic entanglement. Every move is fatal, so be careful and don't show off. If you are injured, disabled or die because of force and competitiveness, Lingtian sect will not be responsible. And listening to that girl's words, the boy is smiling and thinking, this is much easier to handle. I'll let that Gwawazi know later that provoking me will lead to death. Then the boy says to his 2 friends, just listen to me and go into the woods. You know what to do, right? Whoever kills him will be rewarded with 500 spiritual stones. And both those boys say, don't worry, brother. It's all wrapped up in us. Then the girl tells them all about their mission and says, your mission this time is to collect fairy grass. Polygonum multiflorum 9 points, Fengwuxiang 6 points, soul-inducing mushroom 4 points, bellflower 1 point. The number of grass jelly is limited and the one with the lowest score will be eliminated directly. Get started with a storage bag each. And Baeliang, after listening to that girl's words, is thinking, I'm very busy now. I have to catch fairy grass and look for fairy spring water. And then that girl comes to Baeliang and says to Baeliang, what are you still writing about? Everyone else is gone. Do you want to go home directly? And Baeliang says to that girl, don't worry. As far as I know, Polygonum multiflorum likes a humid environment, can fly, and usually appears at night. Is 9 points worth catching a Polygonum multiflorum? If I catch more than one, will I get a corresponding multiple of the contribution value? And after listening to Baeliang, the girl tells him, catch a lot of them. How many levels are you refining? But Baeliang calls that girl a liar, and hearing this the girl gets very angry. And she shouts at Baeliang and says, at the first level of chi training, I want to catch Polygonum multiflorum. Do you think he Shou Wu is a fool like you? Are you waiting for you to catch me? Don't be too ambitious. Hurry up and do the task for me. And after listening to that girl's words, Baeliang starts running away in fear. I'll go right away. And that girl is thinking, what is the situation now? Everyone is being recruited. After this, it becomes night now. And we see those 3 boys going into the woods, and they're saying, that's almost it. Then the boy says to his friends, is your method okay? Make sure nothing goes wrong. And the boy says, don't worry, brother. According to my observation, there is only one way to enter the forest. I have the most experience dealing with such people. And the man makes a creepy face and says to them, don't forget what I'm best at, I'm the trap prince. Then that boy's companion builds a trap and says, no one can escape my trap. And the other boy takes out a poison spoon from him and says, just in case, I sprinkled poison on the trap. This time he will definitely not survive. And sprinkles that poison on the sharp thorns of those bamboos. And that boy's companion says to him, brother, when will you see this spiritual stone? And the boy says to both of them, just to get out this bad breath. Kill that stupid boy, and the spiritual stone will be easy to talk about. These are rewards for you separately. And they see the spiritual stone, seeing which both of their eyes start shining, and they both say, everything is for Big Brother. Just then, they hear someone coming. And we see that Bailiang is coming from that side. And Bailiang is very happy, and he is saying, it is indeed a great sect. There is so much spiritual energy here. And Bailiang is moving ahead laughing, singing and giggling. Wow. Good. It feels really good. And seeing Bailiang's actions they say, isn't this kid a fool? But the boy says with a dangerous look, if you dare to mess with me, you will die today. And Bailiang is moving ahead smiling, and he is just about to reach near their trap and they are just waiting for a moment. And those people are saying, bring it on. Getting closer. And as Bailiang takes a step forward, the man happily says 500 spirit stones are about to be obtained. But Bailiang crosses that place, and the trap laid by them is of no use. And both are surprised to see this. Then they both look at each other and say, what's the situation? Then the boy looks at both of them angrily, and places his hand on both of their heads and says, what's going on? Can your trap work? And the other guy says, it doesn't make sense. And Bailiang is thinking while leaving, snorting. The kid also wanted to tease me, thinking that I wouldn't notice it if he hides. Back then, young master, I was looking for treasures. I had never encountered any of the magic circles and traps of the major immortal sections. Take your time and play around. Then now all three go near the place where they had set the trap. And a man is saying, did you remember the wrong place? And the man who had set the trap checks the ground and says, there is no way I could have marked it myself. This should be no problem. And while the boy is checking the ground, someone kicks him and says, if you have any problems, try it and you will know. And the boy falls into the trap laid by himself. And the one who kicks that boy is none other than his friend. And he makes a creepy look and says, what to do? Of course it's all to yourself. And that boy's painful scream starts echoing in the middle of that forest. Then the other friend of that boy says, brother, his tricks are too low-end. Might as well use my method. And the boy asks him, oh? What other methods do you have? And his companion tells him, as the saying goes, it is difficult for a hero to be a beauty. I am not only good at using poison but also good at disguise. And the boy gets surprised after hearing this, disguise? Can these two people do it? Then his companion starts opening his clothes at the same place and says, brother, just take a look. And seeing that boy opening the cloth, he gets very angry and says, don't take it off in front of me. I'm not interested in men. And his companion goes into the bushes and starts changing his clothes. And after a few moments the boy turns out to be a girl, seeing whom the boy says, even the voice has changed. And we see that the boy's partner has transformed into a beautiful girl. And the girl asks the boy, brother, do you think this is okay? And after seeing that boy or seeing the beauty of that girl, that boy starts thinking, she is looking very beautiful. And the boy catches the girl while running, and the boy says to her, if you could, would you stay like this for the rest of your life? I support you. And his companion says to that boy, brother, didn't you just say you weren't interested in men? And he starts running from that place and while running says, brother, wait for my good news. After some time, now Bailiang is eating a fruit and saying, in such an environment, let alone Polygonum multiflorum, it is impossible even to grow ideal grass. This fruit is so exciting. And then Bailiang hears the sound of something, and becomes alert after hearing that sound. And when Bailiang looks towards the front, there are a lot of bellflowers at that place. And Bailiang becomes happy after seeing them and says, Lingling grass. Get 2 points first. And Bailiang slowly starts going towards those bellflowers and says, Lingling grass is particularly sensitive to sound. As long as it doesn't make any sound, it's still easy to catch. Don't move, little one. And Bailiang has reached near those bellflowers, slowly, and as soon as Bailiang is about to catch one of the bellflower, suddenly someone starts shouting, help, help. And hearing his voice, all the bellflowers run away from that place. And Bailiang's plan, he gets ruined. And due to which Bailiang gets very angry, I'm just a little closer. Who is crying and howling here in broad daylight? Then we see that girl, or should I say a boy. She is asking for help. Who can help me? Help. And just then, Bailiang comes to that place and says to the girl, Girl? What's wrong with you? And looking at Bailiang, the girl is smiling and thinking, here it comes. And that girl says to Bailiang, little brother, I accidentally hurt my leg. I can't move now. I think I was poisoned. Can you help me? And Bailiang asks that girl, which one are you? Why haven't I seen you? So the girl says, I'm also here to do martial arts tasks, but I'm from another group. Can you come and help me up? And that girl has a knife, and that knife is laced with poison. And Bailiang says to that girl, help you? You won't blackmail me. And after listening to Bailiang, the girl starts getting a little angry, but she says, how could it be? It's too late for me to thank you. Little brother, please. But that girl is very angry inside, and she is thinking, what's going on with this guy? Why don't you show pity to her at all? And just then, someone places his hand on his shoulder. And that girl says it very well. Hooked, I don't believe I can't kill you at such a close range. Die to me. And the girl turns back and takes out her knife, and hits the man with that knife. And she starts smiling, but just then, her face changes. When she sees someone else in front of her. That girl has stabbed another man. And seeing this, both of them get surprised and wonder, who is he? And that girl takes out that poisonous knife from that boy's chest, and says to that boy, I can't control that much anymore. Then the girl says, I don't believe that I can't cure your level by practicing Dong Chi at the 5th level. And the girl moves forward to directly attack Bailiang. And she attacks Bailiang, but then, when Bailiang sees that knife, he says, this knife is pretty good, at least it's middle to lower quality. And when the girl sees that Bailiang's reaction is very fast, she gets a little surprised. But still she moves forward to make another attack on Bailiang. But just then, Bailiang holds the girl's hand, and takes the knife from her hand and says, this quality can be sold for at least 50 spirit stones. And Bailiang keeps that knife with himself and shows the thumb to the girl and says, thanks. Then I would rather obey your orders than be respectful. I accepted it, but the girl told him who said I would give it to you. And the girl is a little surprised and says, what just happened? It was so fast that I didn't even see his movements clearly. And Bailiang rubs his nose and tells her, but I have to say that your disguise skills are really amazing. If you hadn't smelled like an old man, I would have almost believed you. And after hearing Bailiang's words, the girl gets angry and says, what did you say? You can insult me. But don't insult my skills. How do you double appearance? But the girl calms down and looks at Bailiang and says, I am perfect in both body shape and appearance. Even my deodorant is specially customized and high-end. But Bailiang points his finger at the girl and tells her, this is my first time seeing a pervert like you. And that girl got very angry after listening to Bailiang. He is so angry that his fake hair starts flying in the wind. And she says angrily, I'll fucking kill you. But then, someone attacks the girl from behind, due to which the girl becomes unconscious. And she falls on the ground, and at the same time a potato grows on her head. And the person doing this is the same man whom this girl had stabbed. And the boy says, the knife is poisonous. And just then, that boy also falls at that place. And the boy becomes unconscious, and seeing this Bailiang gets surprised and says, where is this? This part begins, and now Bailiang has brought the injured boy to another place. And Bailiang is saying, you said you are so unprepared in this barren mountain. And that boy is saying, am I going to die? I was careless. If possible, could you please send a message to my father? And Bailiang looks at that boy and says, what are you thinking about? Then Bailiang takes out a pill and tells about that pill. This pill has a detoxification effect and has a certain effect on wound recovery. Master, that guy Wu Bailiang is here to stock up again. I spent a lot of experience getting this from the Xingxian sect. I don't even want to eat it. Let's just sell you 5,000 spiritual stones as a friend. After listening to Bailiang, the boy says, 5,000 spirit stones are just my daily pocket money. Thank you so much. And listening to that boy's words, Bailiang's eyes start shining. One day's pocket money is 5,000 spirit stones. And Bailiang says to that boy, Wu Bailiang, from now on we are the strongest brothers. And the boy tells himself, hello, senior brother Wu, I am Wang Fuxing. And Wang eats that pill, And by eating that pill he gets a different feeling, he finds it refreshing. I feel like every part of my body is smooth instantly. And now all the poison gets removed from Wang's body. And Wang catches Bailiang, and says to him, "This pill works so well. Is Senior Brother Wu still there?" Bailiang asks Wang, "What do you think I am?" "Not yet, but if you need anything, come to me at any time. I'll just go to Xinxian Sect to purchase the goods." And Wang says, "Then I have to thank Senior Brother Wu." And now both are moving forward, and Wang is saying, "I don't know and I don't know anyone else. Polygonum multiflorum does not." And Bailiang says, "Get down to business." After this, the scene shifts and we see Guawazi, who is looking at his partner, and saying, "Another waste. Looks like I have to take action myself." And Guawazi takes out a weapon from him and says, "I don't believe that my 6th level of chi refining plus my ancestral King Kong can't control him." After this, both Bailiang and Wang are going inside the forest, and Wang is saying, "Senior Brother Wu, how come you haven't encountered anything after walking for a long time? And why does it feel so eerie here?" And Bailiang says, "Polygonum multiflorum prefers cool and humid places. The heavier the yin, the better. We just need to wait quietly." And after listening to Bailiang, Wang starts looking around. And Wang is a little scared, and Bailiang also understands this. Then something falls on Wang, and when Wang looks at his face in the water, he sees something. And when he looks up, Chui Han is there, and Chui Han is troubled by something, but Wang gets very scared after seeing Chui Han. He thinks Chui Han is a ghost. And Bailiang, seeing Wang scared, asks him, "What's wrong? What a surprise." Wang asks Bailiang to look up, and when Bailiang looks up, he is surprised. The girl seems familiar to him, and he says, "Why does he look like Chui Han?" And Bailiang takes out his knife, and very fast climbs that tree, and frees Chui Han from those vines. And he brings Chui Han down, and Wang is saying, "How is she? He couldn't be dead." And Bailiang says, "Right now he is unconscious." And those people are a little confused and are saying, "How could she be tied up here? There must be a monster in here." After this, Wang is saying, "Let's get out of here quickly. The monster must still be around. Why are you so timid?" And something comes behind Wang. And she is a monster. And that monster attacks Wang, and captures Wang. And Wang is saying to save Bailiang, "I don't want to die. Daddy, I want to go home." And Bailiang looks at that monster and says it turned out to be a level 5 monster. Its smell was mixed with the surrounding trees and I didn't notice it. And that monster is about to eat Wang. But Bailiang puts his knife forward and says, "This incident was so troublesome that I encountered 2 people who were holding me back." And Bailiang starts moving towards that monster, and throws his knife forward, so that Wang escapes from the monster's grip. And Bailiang catches Wang, and starts running fast. And the monster gets very angry because Bailiang has snatched away his prey. And Wang is saying with fear, "Didn't you say this is a safe zone? How could there be such a huge tree demon?" And Bailiang takes something out of himself and says, "No matter where you are, it's better to be careful. Taste my thunder fire beads." And Bailiang attacks with thunder fire bead. And that attack hits the monster directly, due to which blasts start happening on the monster, and Bailiang says this will hold it off for a while. And Wang gets very surprised to see this and he says, "Brother is awesome. Why do you have so many treasures?" But Bailiang says to Wang, "A total of 3 beads and 3,000 spirit stones are used, plus they protect you, so it's not too much to charge you for 20,000 spirit stones." And Wang says, "Do you have to calculate it so clearly?" And Bailiang says while leaving, "So what do we do next?" "What to do? Run. Can you defeat level 5 monsters?" After this, Bailiang is leaving carrying Chui Han on his back, and saying, "Another point is that Suihua didn't say that she couldn't steal prey captured by others. In other words, they tacitly allow us to kill each other. Be careful and you may lose your life if you are not careful." And after listening to Bailiang, one becomes very surprised and says, "Is this a fairy sect or a demon sect?" And Bailiang says, "Boy, you are still too young." As the 3 of them go ahead, someone comes in front of them, and it is Guawazi. Guawazi says, "Boy, I finally found you." But Bailiang says, Why is this guy so persistent? Gwawazi takes out his treasure and says, today I want to let you know how awesome I am no matter what. King Kong! Gwawazi attacks Baelyang with his treasure, and that treasure is moving very fast towards Baelyang, and Gwawazi is saying, my magical weapon, King Kong, is famous for its extreme speed, cutting iron like clay. You have no room to fight back against a little guy like you, and that treasure has come very close to Baelyang. As soon as Baelyang sees the treasure, he catches it. And when Gwawazi sees this, he is shocked, and he says, he actually caught my King Kong. Baelyang looking at that treasure says, the quality of this magic weapon is at least medium grade. Selling 10,000 spiritual stones is no problem. Thank you for the meeting gift. Then I'll accept it. And when Gwawazi hears this, he gets very angry and says, what a fucking meeting gift. Give me back my ancestral magic weapon. Using his spiritual power, Gwawazi starts calling the treasure towards himself. And he says, my ancestral treasure. Give me back what you damned. Baelyang has held that treasure very tightly, and Baelyang is saying, I want to take back the things that were given to me, but there is no way. Gwawazi is getting very angry after listening to Baelyang's words. And he is saying, who said I would send it to you? Just then, Baelyang takes out the space bag, and fills the treasure in his space bag. Then he says, now let's see where you go. And seeing this action of Baelyang, now Gwawazi's mind has become very disturbed. And he is saying, how dare you kid to tease me like this? Now I not only want your life, I will also prevent you from reincarnation forever. But when Gwawazi looks ahead, Baelyang and Wan have fled from that place. And seeing this, Gwawazi gets even more angry. Now it seems that Gwawazi is about to go mad. And he says, damn it. How dare you run away? You are going to be so angry, and Gwawazi shouts very loudly, get out of here. And now all three are going ahead, and Wang is saying, I see that guy is so angry. He will definitely not let you go easily. Baelyang says, I don't have time to spend with him, let him play by himself. And Wang says, give her some water. And Baelyang says, you still have the bowl with you? And Wang says smilingly, not only is there a bowl, let's go inside and take a rest. It always feels unsafe outside. Baelyang is surprised to hear this, and says, in the house? What house? And now Wang has brought both of them near a house, and he is saying, before I left home, my dad gave me a storage bag with various supplies in it. Baelyang is surprised to hear this, and says this is too exaggerated, really brings the house out. Baelyang looking at that storage bag says there is also a storage bag of this grade that can sell for at least 100,000 spirit stones on the market. 100,000 spirit stones? And Wang says, is it expensive? And Baelyang says, not only is it expensive, and Baelyang now takes Chui-han inside that house, and makes her lie down on the bed. And seeing Chui-han, both of them are blushing, and Baelyang is saying, she's awake. I have to say, if you look closely, she is quite beautiful. Just then, Chui-han moves her hand and hugs Baelyang, saying, don't want to. Don't leave me. And when Chui-han hugs Baelyang, Baelyang feels like heaven, and Baelyang says, take the initiative to throw yourself into your arms. Why didn't I know I was so charming? Don't worry, girl, why would I leave you alone? Just then Chui-han regains consciousness. And she is surprised to see Baelyang in front of her, and starts blushing. Then Baelyang tells Chui-han, don't worry. Girl, we are not bad people. And Wang also says, yes. Senior brother Wu just saved you from the tree demon. We are all good people. Then Chui-han sits on the bed, and Baelyang asks Chui-han, girl, how could you be caught by the tree demon? So Chui-han says, my senior sister and I did a mission together, and we originally caught a few Feng Wuxiang. But in order to get high scores, the senior sister suggested finding Polygonum multiflorum. When I was looking for Polygonum multiflorum, my senior sister knocked me unconscious and I woke up here. Just then, Chui-han notices something, and says, my phoenix dance fragrance. My storage bag is missing. And Baelyang says to Chui-han, it goes without saying that he must have been robbed. And Chuihan says, I didn't expect that my senior sister would be such a person. And Bailiang says, in other words, our current situation is all 0 points. And Chuihan says, wrong, you have a negative score. I caught a lingling grass and got 1 point plus. Bailiang says, forgot about this, I still have a negative score. Then Bailiang says to both of them, with the current abilities of the two of you, it will be a matter of time before you are eliminated. That's true, so if we want to stay, we must cooperate and do tasks together. And Wang says, when we do tasks together, isn't Senior Brother Wu afraid that he will hold us back? In fact, it doesn't matter whether I choose or not. The worst thing is that I can go home and inherit the family business. And Bailiang tells Wang, what a word! Do you want to be a useless waste? What is the difference between having no dreams and salted fish? I won't give up on you. One is my best friend, and the other may become my lifelong partner. Believe me. And Wang says, It seems like we have known each other for less than a day. Chuihan blushes and says, who is your partner? And Bailiang says, didn't you just tell me not to abandon you? This is not the point, do you want to do it with me? I'll take you flying. And now all three get ready to work together and say, I believe in Brother Wu, I don't want to be eliminated. Bailiang takes out a pill and says, I have Pingxin pills here that can temporarily hide your aura, a bunch of spiritual stones. You can take them. And now all three of them go out at night to complete their work. And while leaving, they are talking, Senior Brother Wu, why do you have all the props? You will use them up immediately. Do you have a ledger? I have to write down your expenses. Didn't you say we are close buddies? Why do you still need money? You don't understand what it means to say that brothers are settling accounts. And all three are watching from behind the bushes, and one is saying, Senior Brother Wu, what are we doing here? Where did that dryad go? And Bailiang says the dryad should still be nearby and the Polygonum multiflorum should show up around the time. And Wang says, but we can't defeat the tree demon. Bailiang smilingly says to Wang, others will definitely come here to catch Polygonum multiflorum, and they will definitely lure the tree demon away when they encounter it. When the time comes, we will have a fight between clans and the fishermen will profit. And after listening to Bailiang, Wang says Senior Brother Wu is powerful. Just then, someone comes to that place, and all three of them hide behind the bushes, and Chuihan says somebody is coming. Hide now. Yunling comes to that place, and seeing Yunling, Chuihan says, it's Senior Sister Yunling. My things were taken away by her. But Bailiang tells Chuihan, wrong. She is not Yunling. She is full of evil spirit. And he's still a demon of quite a high level. A lot of energy is coming out from inside Yunling, and Yunling looks ahead, and it seems that Yunling has seen these three, and Wang says, have we been discovered? But Bailiang says it's impossible, our aura has been completely hidden. Could it be that the panacea has expired? And Chuihan says if it doesn't work, fight with her. And after listening to Chuihan, Bailiang says spell? What to fight for? Judging from the demonic aura she revealed, it was at least level 6. And Wang is surprised to hear this. Just then, Yunling uses her power, she feels that someone is watching her silently. And seeing this, Wang gets surprised and says, oops. We've been discovered. But that power transcends these three, and Yunling catches another man, and that man is Guawazi. And Bailiang is surprised to see Guawazi. Guawazi is saying to Yunling, hello? We have no enemy. What are you doing? And Yunling says, because it's fun. Sister, I caught another one. Just then, a monster bursts out of the ground. And this is the same monster which had earlier attacked Bailiang and Wang. And when Yunling sees the monster's burnt face, she asks the monster, sister, what's wrong with you? Your face. And the monster gets angry and says, damn humans, how dare you ruin my beautiful face? And Yunling says, who dares to ruin my sister's appearance? And that monster says, a very ugly-looking man with pigtails. I must smash him to pieces. And Yunling says, sister, don't get angry, sister, I'll go find him right now. Besides, how this guy is going to deal with his sister is not half as good as one of us. Guawazi gets scared after hearing this, and says, no. I'll give you spiritual stones, I'll give you whatever you want. Don't kill me. But Yunling says, who cares about those rotten rocks? Then we see Bailiang, who gets angry after listening to the monster's words, and he says, what does it mean to be an extremely ugly and smelly man? It's unbearable. And Wang is trying to calm down Bailiang. And that monster is saying, every year, many of our compatriots are captured by those who cultivate themselves to refine elixirs. Today I also want to let them know that we are not easy to mess with. Kill him. Just use his blood to pay homage to our fallen brothers and sisters. And now Yunling prepares one of her attacks, and launches that attack on Guawazi, but then, Guawazi, using his power, creates a barrier, so that he is saved from Yunling's attack. Yunling becomes happy and says, spiritual energy body protection, this guy's cultivation is pretty good. Then you can play for a while longer. But Guawazi says to Yunling, who wants to play with you? I haven't lived enough yet. Guawazi is running very fast, and both Bailiang and Wang are surprised to see him running. And when Guawazi sees both of them, he gets very angry, and he says, that extremely ugly guy is hiding here. Just take your time and play. I slipped away first. And while Guawazi is running, vines start emerging from under the ground. And those vines become very big and stop Guawazi there. Then the monster says, run? None of you can run away today. And Bailiang says to his friends, now that it's been discovered, there's nothing to hide. We listen to Anchor's arrangements. Do you use this to deal with monsters? There is no other way, we just brought these tools. Bailiang takes out a lot of weapons from his storage bag and says, I'll just lend it to you, and you'll have to pay it back when you're done using it. And Wang gets surprised to see so many weapons, then Guawazi says, my King Kong. Then the monster says they are all little minions in the chi refining stage. The other 3 are up to you. This boy is mine. And Yunling says, then I won't be polite. Just then, Bailiang attacks Yunling with something, and Bailiang says, take advantage of me. And the monster gets scared and says, watch out for his hidden weapon. And Yunling puts her hands forward to avoid Bailiang's attack. But when she looked carefully, Bailiang had attacked her with stones. Seeing this, Yunling becomes very angry and says, how dare you tease me? I wanted to. And Yunling starts rubbing her teeth. Then a house falls on Yunling. Seeing this, Bailiang becomes very surprised and says this trick works. And this attacker is Wang, he has taken out that house from his storage bag. And Wang says, have a taste of my overwhelming power. Bailiang says to Wang, this is the first time I've seen someone use a storage bag as a weapon. Just then, Yunling breaks into that house and she says, what kind of spell is this? Now these immortal cultivators are really weirder than the last. And Wang says smilingly, it's not over yet. And Wang throws various things on Yunling from his storage bag, seeing which Yunling gets surprised. But now Yunling is angry. And with the help of her power she cuts all those things. Chu-Yihan gets surprised to see this, and Wang also gets surprised. And Yunling says, how? Are you done performing? Yunling moves forward very quickly to attack Wang. And she attacks Wang with her punch, due to which Wang vomits. And rolling away he goes far away. And seeing that attack, Bailiang and Chu-Yihan become very surprised. Guawazi says, Yunling has a very fast attack. Yunling looks at Guawazi and says, now it is your turn. Guawazi starts calling his treasure, and Guawazi's treasure moves very fast to attack Yunling. But Yunling breaks Guawazi's treasure with her own hands. And seeing this, Guawazi screams. And Bailiang is heartbroken, because that spiritual treasure was Bailiang's 5,000 spiritual stones. Then she says, monster cool! I just like to see them struggling to death. Then Yunling says to them, if you have any other tricks, feel free to use them. I'll accompany you for fun. It's okay for you guys to have fun, Guawazi says, now the game is over. And Bailiang says, it seems that now I have only one option left. And Guawazi asks Bailiang, what do you mean? Then Bailiang takes a deep breath and whistles. And that voice travels very far. And seeing this, Yunling says, why do you want to call someone? And that monster says, rest assured. Now no one, they and I have stepped into the barrier. Can't be saved. And after waiting for some time, Yunling says, "So these are your last words? Want to count on others to save you? That is impossible." And that monster says, "The blood of immortal cultivators is extremely delicious. Let me taste it today." Then Yunling and the monster move forward to attack all of them. And Chuihan is saying, "Now it is over." But Baolang is still smiling. Then something is moving very fast towards them. And that thing attacks that monster directly, which no one can see. Everyone is surprised to see what just happened. And a dangerous attack happens on that monster, due to which it goes away and hits a tree. And we see a claw. Baoyang's dog has come to that place. And Yunling is a little surprised to see that dog, and she is saying, although he is just a local dog. And Baolang tells, "Because I feed him elixir all year round, his cultivation level will definitely not be worse than yours." And now half of that monster's body has disappeared. And that monster becomes very angry. And she moves forward to attack that dog, but that dog is also very clever, it attacks that monster very fast. Due to which one hand of that monster disappears. And that dog has also caught the demon pill of that monster, and seeing this, the monster is very surprised, and the dog destroys the demon pill, due to which the monster starts disappearing. Seeing this, Yunling feels very bad, and she says, "This dog has really defeated my sister in a short time." And now Yunling is very angry. And now she wants to kill Baoyang's dog, but that dog is stronger than Yunling. And that dog comes behind Yunling, and directly that dog goes behind Yunling and gives her a headbutt. Due to which Yunling falls very far. And Yunling cannot believe that a local dog can be so powerful. And Yunling becomes unconscious at the same place, and the dog is saying, "Super invincible all hard dog legs." And when Chuihan and Guawazi see this, they are very surprised. And with this the dog has defeated Yunling. And that dog is saying, "How should you thank me?" And Baoyang goes to his dog, and his dog is saying, "Thank me quickly. Reward me quickly." But Baoyang starts pointing his finger at the dog's head and says, "Who asked you to bite the demon pill into pieces? That's worth a lot of money. Still want a reward? There are no doors." And now both Baoyang and the dog start fighting. And Chuihan is also watching all this, but she is unable to say anything. Then something starts coming out of Yunling's mouth, which is a strange kind of creature. Then Guawazi notices that creature, and that creature goes directly inside Wang's mouth. And Wang's eyes open, and he starts running away from that place very fast. And whenever Baoyang sees this, he says, "I will wipe it. My good brother! How dare you take advantage of my good brother? You stay and take care of Yunling. I'll save him." And Chuihan says to Baoyang, "Are you going alone? Wait a moment. It's not allowed there. That's the black area over there. Sister Tsehua said we can't go there." And Baoyang says, "How could I refuse to save the good brother I finally got to know? No matter what, I have to save him." And Chuihan says, "It seems that you have known each other for a short time, right? Are the feelings so deep already?" And after listening to Chuihan, Baoyang stops, turns back and says, "He still owes me money." And Chuihan understands one thing about Baoyang, the guy who wants money rather than his life. And Baoyang points his finger towards Guawazi and says, "You follow me?" Guawazi makes an excuse and says, "I am having a lot of pain in my leg," and smilingly tells Baoyang, "Sorry brother, it hurts. I'm afraid I can't be of much help. My legs hurt, want to keep the door open. Are you sending it away?" And seeing Guawazi's bad acting, Baoyang tells his dog to go and bite Guawazi. And on hearing this, the dog comes into rage mode, and runs directly behind Guawazi to bite him. Guawazi climbs a tree and says, "Brother, please spare me. I don't want to die. I have an old one and a young one. They still expect me to feed them." Then Baoyang says, "It's a waste of resources to still want to cultivate immortality with such courage. Big Black. Let's go." And Baoyang says to his dog, "You did well just now." His dog says, "Don't just talk about these useless things, give me some actual rewards." And when Baoyang and his dog are moving forward, some sound starts coming from inside the dog. And hearing that, Baoyang says to his dog, "Can you please keep your voice down so as not to attract the monsters?" And Baelyang's dog barks and says, "Blame it on me. It's been so long since I've eaten. I'm going to starve to death. Hurry and find me something to eat." And then a monster comes behind both of them, and that monster says, "I have found food for myself. Today I also have a taste of what it means to be an immortal cultivator. I'm starving to death too." And that monster attacks. After some time, we see that Baelyang's dog's stomach is now full. And his dog is saying, "It's so cool. I haven't eaten so happily in a long time. It's a pity that I didn't bring any seasoning." At the same time, Baelyang is looking at the level 3 demon pill happily and saying, "Level 3 demon pill. Nice. This is really a treasure land to make a fortune." Just then, 2 more snake monsters arrive at that place, and the female monster says, "You have killed my son. Now I will kill both of you." And that snack monster is very, very big. And seeing him, Baelyang says nervously, "One wave comes after another. Dahei, how are you? Can you still eat it?" And when Baelyang looks back, his dog is already running away. And his dog runs away and says, "Let's go. What are you waiting for?" And now Baelyang also starts running very fast, but the monster is not going to give up chasing Baelyang so easily. And while running, Baelyang's dog reaches near a ditch, and with great difficulty stops himself from falling into that ditch. And then when the dog looks back, Baelyang comes running and collides with him, due to which both of them start falling into the ditch. And while falling into that ditch, Baelyang is saying, I wipe it. Why is there such a huge ditch?" And his dog is saying, "Don't you watch the road?" And now Baelyang and the dog fall into the water, and both of them are being pulled inside the water. But Baelyang feels a lot of spiritual energy inside that water. And he is saying, "Why is there so much spiritual energy in this water? Is this the reason why the back mountain has sufficient spiritual energy?" And as soon as Baelyang sees it in front, he gets surprised, because a lot of energy is coming out from inside that dog. Only then does that dog make a breakthrough. And he sits in meditation pose. Seeing this, Baelyang becomes very surprised and says, "I will wipe it." Dahei's cultivation level has actually broken through. And at the same time, the dog becomes very happy with his breakthrough. And he starts showing off his biceps. Then Baelyang starts thinking, "Do you think I can do this with this abundant spiritual energy?" And Baelyang opens his mouth and starts drinking that water. And Baelyang drinks so much water that his stomach swells. And that dog brings Baelyang to the shore and says, "Hello. Are you okay? Don't scare me." Then the dog feels something and says, "I can actually speak human language." Baelyang is crying and saying, "After drinking so much, my cultivation only increased by 0.1. Sure enough, it's still not of much use to me." Then the water is absorbed inside Baelyang's stomach. And Baelyang is surprised to see this. Then that treasure comes out from inside Baelyang, and it is a shovel, which stops above that water, and only then that shovel evolves. Baelyang gets surprised seeing this, and he says, "Shovel, finally I woke up." "And who woke me up?" And Baelyang hearing this says, "I knew I wouldn't make a mistake. This shovel actually has a weapon spirit. As far as I know, the Crane sect and Xingxian sect combined only have half of the magic weapons that produce weapon spirits." And Baelyang says to that spirit weapon, "Listen. From now on I am your master. Tell me what's the right way to use you. Is there a spell?" And spirit weapon asks Baelyang, "Owner? May I ask what your level of cultivation is?" So Baelyang smilingly tells the spirit weapon, "Snort. Chi refining is 1.51, right? It's almost 1.61? And after listening to Baelyang, he says to spirit weapon, "Chi refining level 1.61? This is the first time I heard that cultivation is accurate to 2 decimal places. My previous masters were all famous super strong men in the wilderness. How come I have fallen into the hands of a loser who can't reach the 2nd level of chi refining? It's such a loss of my identity as a peerless magic weapon." And that spirit weapon clearly refuses, and he does not want Baelyang to be his master. Then Baelyang drops his blood on the weapon, due to which the spirit weapon makes a contract with Baelyang. And Baelyang says smilingly, "Of course it's a blood contract. I've heard that's how it's done. And that spirit weapon starts washing Baelyang's blood with water and says, I can never accept you as my master. And seeing all this, the dog says, it seems to dislike you. But Baelyang says to that weapon, there's no point in hating me. Come to me. And because of the blood contract made by Baelyang, that weapon directly comes into Baelyang's hands. And seeing this, Baelyang says, it's useless no matter how much you wash it. But spirit weapon tells Baelyang, boy, you can have my body, but you will never get my heart. Baelyang says to that spirit weapon, in that vast room with many things, I turned a blind eye to those flashy and charming bitches, and I went through all the trouble to find you. Do you know why? And spirit weapon says, why? So Baelyang tells him, because you are as good as me, but low-key. If you follow me from now on, I will treat you sincerely. You are so awesome. Then the dog feels something, and he says smilingly, wait a moment. There's movement over there. And now that dog starts going inside the cave very fast. And Baelyang is also coming behind him. And now both reach a different place. When Baelyang sees it in front, he gets surprised. In front, there are lovely, small, cute monster girls. Seeing whom I cannot say anything. And seeing them, Baelyang is saying, it seems that they have transformed into human forms under the nourishment of the aura of the pool water. Just then, Wang arrives at that place. And Wang is possessed by that creature. And Wang is saying, I didn't expect you to catch up here. Don't be afraid, sisters. I will protect you. Baelyang says smilingly, don't be afraid, sisters. I will protect you. And after listening to Baelyang, Wang says, stop pretending to be a nice guy here. You cultivators all have the same virtue. For your own cultivation, many of our brothers and sisters have been trained into we have finally cultivated into shape, and we will not let you do anything wrong here no matter what elixirs by you. And Baelyang says, do you think I look like a person who does all kinds of evil? I'm just here to catch Polygonum multiflorum. You guys do what you're supposed to do. And Wang says angrily, everything I just said was bullshit. You can't take away a single plant or tree from here today. But Baelyang tells him, so there's nothing to talk about. Big Black. And upon hearing Baelyang's order, the dog now transforms into a fire wolf beast. And seeing this, one gets surprised and says spiritual energy is being released from inside it. And the dog says, who will come first? And Baelyang is laughing and saying, are you sure you want to fight? Everything can be discussed. Either help me complete the mission or be eaten all by Dahei. Also, get my friend back. And after listening to Baelyang, one gets angry and says, are you talking about this? And Baelyang says, am I not sincere enough? The dog says, well enough. Then Wang says to Baelyang, I can promise you. But you have to agree to my conditions. And when Baelyang asks about that condition, Wang tells Baelyang, from now on, you can't step foot here again. And Baelyang does not have any problem with Wang's condition. But the dog is talking to Baelyang, are you sure you have the final say? And Baelyang says softly to that dog, promise first, and then tell the truth. The road will be found. Hearing Baelyang's words, the dog says, you are such a bitch. Wang comes behind both of them, and asks them, what are you guys doing? Then Wang starts going ahead and says, I'll take you somewhere, I think you'll be interested. And now Baelyang becomes happy and says, I knew there was a treasure here. After some time, Wang brought Baelyang to another place. And Baelyang gets very surprised after seeing that place. Then he smells a smell and says, I smell it. This is definitely no ordinary baby. And Wang sounds like someone's voice, Ula Ula. This sound is very strange. But that voice starts resonating in those mountains. And Baelyang also finds this sound a little different. Just then a spider monster girl arrives at that place, seeing which Baelyang starts blushing and says, what a big spider. Really, this spider monster is looking very beautiful. And that spider monster says to Wang, they are human beings. What's happening here? And Wang says to that spider girl, please sister, please help them get there. And Baelyang looks at the spider girl and smiles and says, sorry for the trouble, sister spider. And hearing this, the spider girl gets angry. And she says, am I your sister? So tell me what's going on here. So Wang tells that spider girl, he promised us that he would never set foot here again. The premise is that we help him complete the task. And after listening to Wang's words, Spider-Girl says, "Promise? Have you forgotten what they did to us?" But Wang says, "We have no choice. You also know that with our strength, we are no match for those cultivators outside." And Spider-Girl says, "Then why do you believe him? Who is he?" And Beilang tells about himself. What a difference what the girl said. "Hell yeah, I am also from Lingtian sect." And that Spider-Girl asks, "What level of cultivation do you have, and what position do you hold in the Lingtian sect?" And Beilang says with confidence, "Chi refining level 1.6. A prospective disciple of the Lingtian sect." Hearing Beiliang's words, the dog says, "Just stop mentioning your cultivation." And Spider-Girl says, "Wait, what is a quasi-disciple?" And Beilang says, "That is, if I pass the assessment, I can officially join the Lingtian sect. How about it? I still have a lot of room for development." And after hearing Beiliang's words, Spider-Girl gets angry and says, "This is the first time I have seen such a shameless person. Why bother talking to him if you just kill him?" And Spider-Girl releases a web from her mouth, and that web catches Beilang. And Spider-Girl starts pulling Beilang towards herself, due to which Beilang starts pulling towards Spider-Girl very fast. And Spider-Girl is now ready to punch Beilang. And Spider-Girl hits Beilang with a punch, due to which Beilang falls very far. But the Spider-Girl again catches Beilang and starts pulling him towards her. And many hits are made on Beilang, due to which Beiliang's clothes get torn, and he falls far away. And Spider-Girl says, "That's it. Do you think he can help us? He didn't even have the strength to fight back." Wang is looking at Beiliang's dog and saying, "What's the situation? Why is this dog unresponsive?" Beiliang's dog is scratching itself. And then Beilang says, "Have you fought enough?" And Spider-Girl is surprised to hear Beiliang's voice. And Beilang is talking to Spider-Girl, "If you don't hit me enough, I won't fight back if you hit me again. I said I was just here for a mission, picking up some treasures by the way." And seeing Beilang safe and sound, Spider-Girl cannot believe it and says, "Impossible. I have been practicing for so many years, but I can't even beat a loser at level 1.6 of Chi refining. And that dog is saying, wrong thing. Although his cultivation level is only more than one level, he has secretly taken so many elixirs that his physical strength has already exceeded his current level many times." And seeing Beilang safe and sound, Spider-Girl goes into depression. And she is saying, "It's over. Can we just let others slaughter us?" And Wang is saying after seeing Spider-Girl, "This is the difference in strength." And Beilang says, "It's not like you don't have a chance." And Spider-Girl is surprised to hear this. And she says, "What are the chances?" So Beilang asks that Spider-Girl to cooperate with him. And Beilang further explains, "When I become the strongest immortal cultivator, I will make all the rules in the future. How can you not be moved?" And after listening to Beilang, Spider-Girl says, "It's up to you. Become the strongest existence?" And Beilang is saying smilingly, "Aren't you here too? If you agree, I am willing to be your insider into the enemy." And after listening to Beilang, Wang says, "Should we try it once?" And Beilang says, "You have to trust." And there is silence at that place for a while. Then she says to Spider-Girl, "Why are you still stunned?" But Beilang gets confused after hearing what Spider-Girl said. And Spider-Girl says to Beilang, "Get on my back and I'll take you there." Spider-Girl is feeling shy, but Beilang has no such thing as shyness. He says okay. And Beilang starts going towards that Spider-Girl. And sits directly behind Spider-Girl, and grabs her, and he says, "Is this posture okay?" And Spider-Girl says teasingly, "Don't come so close to me. Get your dirty hands off." And Beilang says, "Then where can I help you?" But Spider-Girl says, "Help me wherever you like, but don't touch me." And that Spider-Girl starts pouting. And now Spider-Girl takes out a web from her mouth, and lands on a rock with her web. And now Beilang and Spider-Girl leave that place. And both of them start going upwards, and Beilang is finding it very fast. Then they reach the entrance of a cave. And Spider-Girl says to Beilang, "Follow me soon. Don't run around or you'll be stuck here forever." Bail Yang is very surprised to see that place and he says, "Is this a legend?" When Bail Yang looks ahead, he becomes even more surprised, and says, "This is the first time I've seen such a thick guy." And that spider girl looks at Bail Yang and says, "Then you have very little knowledge." But Bail Yang is saying, "It is said that the thorn pine cone it bears is a high-grade yellow fairy fruit. This much is worth at least hundreds of thousands of spirit stones." And Spider Girl says, "It's good, but I advise you not to take advantage of it. If you don't have enough realm, you won't even have a chance to get close to it. Come with me. There are some rare treasures in it that we have collected, and as a condition you must." But Bail Yang does not pay attention to Spider Girl's words and starts going in another direction. And seeing Bail Yang going to the other side, Spider Girl starts shouting, and says, "What are you doing? Do you want to die?" And Bail Yang's dog says to Spider Girl, "It's useless, this guy is as obsessed with treasures as a wild dog is with shit." And after listening to that dog, the Spider Girl calms down and says, "Anyway, I remind you that it is none of my business if you die here." And after a while, Bail Yang reaches a different place, and says, "Why is there someone's name engraved on it?" And when he looks ahead, there are stairs in front of him. And names are written on those stairs. And Spider Girl tells about him. There have been countless cultivators who wanted to get close to this unique northern cold pine before, but the powerful spiritual pressure it exudes makes it impossible to easily get close to the name of the person on the steps, which is the limit of how close they can get, and someone like you might not even be able to reach the first level. But Bail Yang starts climbing those stairs directly, and seeing this Spider Girl gets surprised, and says, "4 steps in 1 step. Impossible." Bail Yang moves forward again, and seeing this Spider Girl becomes even more surprised, 2 steps and 10 steps. The cultivators I saw before were extremely difficult when they got close. And him. Within moments, Bail Yang reaches the top, and he says, "Hello? Why are you still stunned? Come up quickly." Seeing Bail Yang on top, Spider Girl screams. Then she says, "I can't go there." But she screams and says, "Well, if you can, please help me pick some fruit." And Bail Yang listens to him and says, "Easy to say." And Bail Yang is looking at that tree and saying, "It's so high, how can you go up there?" Then Bail Yang starts searching for something in his underwear. And he takes out the shovel and the storage bag, and he says, "The decision is yours. Get all those fruits for me." And Bail Yang says to the spirit weapon, "I will wipe it. Why did you change back again?" But spirit weapon tells Bail Yang, "I'm tired. You have to go by yourself. Don't disturb my rest." And listening to her words, Bail Yang is thinking, all my sincere words about feelings are in vain. This guy is quite proud. I don't believe I can't control you. Just then Bail Yang gets on his knees, and seeing this the spirit weapon says, "What do you want to do?" Then Bail Yang bows down on his knees, in front of that spirit weapon, and starts speaking, "Brother Tai. You will be my big brother from now on. From now on I am your little brother. As the eldest brother, can you bear to let me, the younger brother, be bullied by others? I just want to become stronger. What if one day I can't think about it anymore? Brother, you don't know how many years you will be sealed." And Spider Girl and the dog are watching all this from below. And Spider Girl is saying, "Is he performing some ritual?" And that dog says, "Maybe." And the spirit weapon says, "Then let me help you once. First of all, let's say that if you fail to reach the foundation building stage within half a year, I would rather be sealed." And Bail Yang says, "No problem, Brother Tai." But the spirit weapon is thinking, how can I tell you that half a year has passed since the foundation building stage? My former master was not a top genius. Now I have to accept my fate when I encounter such a thing. I don't want to be sealed again. And Bail Yang is repeatedly bowing before the spirit weapon and saying, "Thank you, Brother Tai. I will definitely step up my practice in the future." And spirit weapon says to Bail Yang, "You want fruit, right? Then I'll give it all to you." And now the spirit weapon returns to its original form. And seeing this, Bail Yang becomes happy. And the spirit weapon starts cutting the tree very fast. And Bail Yang is surprised to see this. And the spirit weapon breaks that tree into pieces. Seeing this, Bail Yang and Spider Girl get very surprised, but the dog does not care about it, and he says, I was aware. And now pieces of the tree fall to the ground, and Spider-Girl is screaming, this guy actually chopped off the northern Han pine. What have you done? And Baelyung's dog says, this guy is quite talented in some aspects. And Spider-Girl asks the dog, in what aspects? So the dog says, a master of getting into trouble. And hearing this, Spider-Girl becomes even more surprised and says, no. Can't stay here anymore. People from the Lingtian sect will definitely come. Let's go quickly. Baelyung is deeply shocked to see the destruction of that tree. And he is saying, what are you doing? Why did you destroy the tree? Spirit Weapon says, can a mere small tree stop me? Whenever I take action, the world will be shocked and ghosts and gods will weep. And hearing this, Baelyung's face falls and he says, it's over. Why do I feel like this guy can cause more trouble than me? And then some movement starts happening at that place, some cultivators start coming to that place. And Baelyung also notices this thing, and he starts running away from this place. And at this place 2 cultivators are coming flying on swords. And now both of them reach near that tree, and the cultivator is very surprised to see that tree cut down. And his other companion says, he actually cut the northern cold pine, which is as hard as steel, into this. And the muscular girl also comes to that place. And Wenja is speaking, who is so bold as to destroy my sect's rare treasures. The second cultivator says, Senior Brother Wenja, this matter is not trivial and must be reported to the elders. And Wenja says, I'm afraid this person hasn't gone far yet. Search for me. We must find this person no matter what. And the muscular girl is talking to Wenja, Brother Wenja, calm down. Can such a hard northern pine be destroyed like this? His cultivation level is at least not lower than the nascent soul stage, and Baelyung is watching all this while hiding behind a rock. And he also sees the muscular girl, and he is saying, it's over now. Sehua must tear me to pieces. And seeing Baelyung sad, Spider-Girl says, what kind of god are you? How could this be something that can be accomplished at the first level of chi refining? And Baelyung says, I'm not some kind of fairy. Then Baelyung says happily, I am really at level 1.6 of chi refining. And his dog says, don't use common sense to explain what happened to him. And all those cultivators are talking about catching Baelyung, and a cultivator goes to find Baelyung. And then Baelyung comes to know that they are coming. And his dog says, what is going to happen to you after this? And they see Baelyung, the cultivator, and Baelyung is running, but suddenly 2 swords fall in front of Baelyung. And a man stands over that sword, and he says, you cannot run away from here. Then one of Wenja's juniors says, Brother Wenja. Here, there is a team of dogs and men. After this, all 3 are made to stand in front of Wenja. And Wenja is surprised to see that in front of him there is a dog, 1 male and 1 female. And Wenja is asking all 3 of them, tell me if you broke the northern Han pine. And near Baelyung's neck, he places his sword, and he says, tell me if you broke the northern Han pine. You are no longer welcome. When the muscular girl sees Baelyung, she is shocked. And Wenja asks the muscular girl, do you know this? So the muscular girl says, how can I tell you? And she gets angry at Baelyung, and hits him on the head, and says he is a disciple here to take part in the assessment, and I am his team leader. But the muscular girl is very angry at Baelyung, and is saying to Baelyung, why are you here? Are you crazy? Do you want to kill me? And Baelyung says to the muscular girl, Sister Tsuhua, listen to my explanation. I came in by mistake too. But a muscular girl says, by accident? What did I say before we set off? And one of Wenja's juniors says, Senior Brother Wenja, according to my analysis, there is definitely something wrong with this guy. Maybe it's a gap where hostile forces have stepped in. Baelyung tells him, his brother can't talk nonsense. You are framed by stealing stolen goods. How do you prove that I am a gap? The man says, frame? According to my analysis, this is a forbidden area for the sect. If someone hadn't told you the location, you wouldn't have come here. And Baelyung points towards the muscular girl and says, Sister Tsuhua just said it. I'm just here to do the job. Sister Tsuhua can vouch for me. And a muscular girl says, testify? Do we know each other well? Sister Tsehua, you can't play like this. But then Wenja starts using his powers, and the dog lifts Bail Yang and Spider Girl into the air, and he says, "Tell me who ordered you. Otherwise, you won't be able to leave here alive." And Bail Yang tells Wenja directly without any fear, "Do you believe me when I say I did it?" And Wenja stares at Bail Yang and says, "Do you want to challenge my tolerance? Then I will play with you." Then the muscular girl comes behind Wenja, brother, and calms down. "If you kill him, the clue will be lost. Give it to me. I will definitely get to the bottom of it." And Wenja says to the muscular girl, "For you. How do I know if you have any secret dealings?" And after listening to Wenja, the muscular girl makes a crying face. And she says to Wenja, "I have a secret deal with him. Brother Wenja, don't you still know who I am?" And she confesses her love to Wenja, and she says, "I have always been yours." And hearing this, Wenja is shocked, and his juniors are also shocked. And those people are saying, "Senior brother Wenja has such a strong taste." And Wenja shouts to the muscular girl, "What nonsense are you talking about? When did you become mine?" And when the muscular girl listens to Wenja, her face falls, and she says, "I see. My heart has always belonged to brother Wenja." And the muscular girl going towards the front says, "If you dare to sow discord between me and brother Wenja, I will kill him." And now she summons her weapon. And she directly attacks Bail Yang, seeing which Bail Yang gets very scared. But then someone stops the muscular girl's weapon and it happens to be Wenja. And Wenja is talking to the muscular girl, "Calm down. Kill him and the clue will be lost. Take her away from me." And another man says, "Senior sister, let's go. Just leave it to your senior brother here." But the muscular girl is speaking, "Oh, I must kill him. How dare he sow discord between me and senior brother Wenja? You hateful third party." And Bail Yang gets very scared after hearing such things from the muscular girl. "Third party? Your digression is a bit too exaggerated." But just then, someone throws a rope over the muscular girl, and is taking it with him, and the muscular girl is saying, "Let me go! What are you doing?" And now Wenja, with a sigh of relief, says, "I can't help but blame her. It's just that I'm too handsome. It's hard not to express your admiration." And after listening to Wenja, Bail Yang says, "I haven't met a normal person since I came to Lingtian sect." And Bail Yang's dog says, "Birds of a feather flock together." And Wenja says to Bail Yang, "Since you don't say it, I will use my own method to make you say it." And Bail Yang tells him, "What to say?" "I've said it all." Wenja says smilingly, "No one could last 5 minutes in my mental hell."